You need to hear this because what's unfolding right now is no longer just political noise. It is turning into one of the most serious ruptures between the United States and Europe in decades. European leaders are openly accusing US President Donald Trump of blackmail after he dramatically escalated his push to take control of Greenland, threatening waves of tariffs against European countries that oppose the move. Over the weekend, Trump warned that imports from key American allies, including Britain, France and Germany, could face rising US tariffs if Europe continues to block what he has framed as an American acquisition of the Arctic island. The response from Europe was swift and unusually blunt. German Finance Minister Lars Klingbeil declared that Europe would not allow itself to be blackmailed, while France's finance minister said such pressure between long-standing allies was simply unacceptable, signalling that patience in European capitals is rapidly wearing thin. As officials scrambled to respond ahead of an emergency summit in Brussels, Europe began weighing concrete retaliation, including the possible use of the European Union's powerful trade defence mechanism known as the Anti-Coercion Instrument, often described by policymakers as a trade bazooka. The tool, never used before, would allow the European Union to restrict US access to contracts, investments or markets if Washington is deemed to be using economic pressure for political gain. Trump's pursuit of Greenland, a semi-autonomous Danish territory, has stunned European officials, not only because of the economic threats involved, but because it represents what many see as an unprecedented verbal, economic and even implied military threat against fellow NATO members. Some historians and geopolitical experts say the moment now rivals the Suez Crisis of 1956, often cited as the lowest point in modern transatlantic relations, when the United States forced its European allies to retreat from Egypt. The situation has baffled analysts, particularly because the US already enjoys wide latitude to establish military bases on Greenland and negotiate access to its natural resources without owning the territory outright. Trump has justified his stance by arguing that Greenland is strategically vital to counter growing threats from Russia and China in the Arctic. And while he has personally downplayed economic motives, members of his team have acknowledged that Greenland's mineral wealth is also a factor. In a fiery Truth Social post late Sunday, Trump accused Denmark of failing to address Russian activity in the region and declared that it was now time for the United States to act. As Europe reacted with alarm, the response from Moscow was notably different. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said Trump would go down in history if he succeeded, stopping short of judging whether that outcome would be good or bad, a remark that only added to European unease. What began as an extraordinary demand over a remote Arctic island has now escalated into a defining confrontation, one that is forcing Europe to decide whether to absorb US pressure or strike back, even at the risk of reshaping the global balance between allies.